credit to Georgia. They did a phenomenal job preparing their team for us. They outcoached us, they outplayed us today. They did a really good job. That being said, I think our players, that locker room's hurting a little bit, but they're ready for an opportunity to grow, anxious to get back on the practice field. Certainly a lot of things that we can clean up and fix. We talk about game ones. It comes down to turnovers. It comes down to penalties. It comes down to missed tackles, and we really lost a lot of those battles tonight. Didn't have a lot of success stopping them. They did a really good job on the perimeter, and their players played really well. Stetson played really well. They have good guys, and you can't afford to play poorly against a good team. So that showed up today.
Dan, when you guys speak about not beating yourselves, 2 interceptions, particularly the second one when it's a 14-point game and you guys are heading into the red zone there at that point, and that swings. And then 9 of 10 on third down, when that was such a point of emphasis in terms of not beating yourselves, but you argue that you really did beat yourselves there when it's competitive.
Yeah, both those things obviously really hurt us. The takeaways were bad, and they dominated us on third down. We just weren't able to get off the field. Obviously, the takeaways, that was the second takeaway is one that Bo would certainly want back. They were playing buzz coverage into a quads look and forced a throw we don't need to force. Bo knows that. He knows that the minute he walked off the field. On third down, we have to do a better job, preparing our guys. They got the ball on the perimeter, and we didn't have great answers for it.
And on the coaching show, you mentioned the big missed tackles, penalties, and turnovers are the 3 things really that show up. I think all those things picture early kind of was the teaching moment there in terms of, correcting tackles in particular.
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing really for our team is seeing that. We got to go back and be great self-evaluators. We got to go pull up the film and evaluate exactly how we perform. I think every one of our players will tell you they have more in the tank and they can do a little bit better. Same with our coaching staff. This is 100% on me and our coaching staff to do a better job preparing our guys. But we have to create those moments in practice. If you don't do it in practice, it's not going to show up in the game. So we can do it better in practice.
You said it was kind of a tough locker room in there, but I'm just curious, how are you feeling? Especially with all the lead up to this game, like people have been talking about it for months. Just how did it feel to meet Kirby midfield there and just have this one under your belt now?
Yeah, everybody knows I have a ton of respect for Kirby. I told our coaching staff before this morning, before we ever played the game, we had a staff meeting. I said every single one of our goals is going to be ahead of us, regardless of how this game comes out, right? So win, loss, draw, every one of our goals is still right here in front of us. Our players feel the exact same way. Tough locker room because we have competitors, right? Not a bad locker room, a tough locker room because we have competitors that want to win, and those guys are hungry to go get better. I think if you asked our players right now, they'd go right back out to the practice field today, right? Because they want to compete. There was no quit in them, but certainly getting to go against a good team, it's a great gauge of where you're at, and they're a good team.
Coach kept the quarterback competition pretty hush-hush. You go with Bo. You kept him in there the entire time, even as the point spread started to jump away from you. Can you just kind of speak to what you saw in camp from Bo and the reason you kept him in for the entire game today?
Yeah, Bo's a leader, and I think if you go back and look at our offense, they really moved the ball. We just didn't cap off our drives. Obviously the turnovers is something we don't want to have, but we moved the ball down the field at times. We just didn't finish drives. You get down to the red area, you got to go score touchdowns, not kick for field goals. We had a couple chances down there that we didn't capitalize. Bo's going to go evaluate himself. We have other quarterbacks on our team that obviously can compete as well, but Bo's our quarterback. Bo did a good job today of handling some adverse situations, but he's also going to figure out how can he improve, right? Just like we can as a staff.
Yeah, quick follow-up. You had plenty of conversations with the players coming off the field after touchdowns given up to Georgia. Can you just talk about what you were saying to guys like Noah Sewell and stuff as they're coming off the field feeling kind of defeated?
Yeah, I love you, buddy. I'm proud to be your coach. That doesn't us playing poorly doesn't change the way I feel about you. It doesn't change the way that I want these guys to feel about the direction of our program where we're going. And Noah, the composure of our guys throughout that game, even though playing poorly, was at next level. Those guys handled it well. We're not satisfied. We got to go get better. We got to go improve. But like I said, every one of those guys is ready to do that.
Dan, can you talk a bit about the scheme in terms of what you wanted to take away? It looked like Stetson had to make some plays. One, he scrambled, got loose, threw a touchdown. Another one, a pretty deep third down out route. Looked like you forced him into some things. And also, Brock Bowers was relatively held in check. How much of a priority was that for your defense?
We certainly emphasized Brock. I think Stetson did a good job of being able to move the ball, on the perimeter, and he's elusive. So even when you do pressure at times, you're not able to always get home. I felt like we wanted to do a good job of making sure the ball got out, outside. Unfortunately, they were able to get it outside, and they won on the perimeter, more than we won on the perimeter. So we have to do a better job of recreating that in practice for us. But they had a lot of success, and that's credit to them.
What did you learn about your team in terms of how they match up with the best? You know the talent on that side. Coming off a lopsided game like this, where do you feel like they are relative to where you guys want to get to?
Yeah, I'm taking our team. I'm taking our players. We have to do a better job of coaching our guys, and growing them and develop them. But let's not discredit Georgia. They have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent. They've been recruiting there and building a program for a long time. I won't take anything away from them, but we have guys that we can play winning football with, and we have to grow this team to do that.
Dan, in a game like this, what are some of the positives that you could take away from this experience?
We're really going to have to go back and look at the film. I think one of the biggest positives, like I said, is we have a locker room that's hungry to go get better. There's not a bunch of finger pointing going on in there. You don't see guys throwing trash cans. That's not the team that we have. You have a team that's frustrated, that wants to improve, but I think we walked away saying, okay, how can we get better?
Dan, in sticking with Bo, particularly late in the fourth quarter, why not go to tie? What would it take, basically, for a fan base is going to ask? They want to see tie times even last season, but in terms of even just today, all right, maybe not every mistake, every issue is Bo's fault, certainly, but why not go to tie? What would it take to turn the tie in a game at this point?
Yeah, I just think we wanted to get our offense an opportunity to get a drive and get in some rhythm there. Obviously they moved the ball down the field there on that last drive. We didn't capitalize it with the score, but give them an opportunity to get in rhythm and get a feel for the game. We've got a lot more football games to prepare for beyond this one, and just moving on just in this game wasn't the only answer. It was grow as a team right now for the next game here.
Take two more, Matt.
Dan, you mentioned there's areas for you guys to improve. I realize maybe you haven't watched the film yet. Off the field immediately, what are those areas that come to mind that you feel like there needs to be a jump between now and week 2?
I think we need to create some more explosives offensively, and then defensively we have to stop those, but we have to tackle much better. We didn't tackle well enough on the perimeter. We didn't get off the blocks well on the perimeter. I think they were able to, take advantage of some of our rush. When we rushed up the field, they were able to put the ball back behind us, and we got to do a good job of retracing with relentless pursuit on defense. Obviously, third down, kind of on both sides. I think we were a little bit better on offense than we were on defense. We weren't good at all right now today on defense. That's going to be an emphasis for us.
Does that surprise you defensively that you guys weren't good on third down?
They're a good team. Do we want to play better? Absolutely. We didn't play as well as we want, but again, credit to them for having a good plan and doing a good job.
Last question there.
It's also, an indication of when you talk about third and short compared to third and long, it's a little easier to convert.
Are there moments in your career, right, in terms of, this is obviously a shortcoming, a tough loss, are there moments, obviously, as a head coach that you can draw from in terms of how to respond and what the next couple of days look like, and maybe walk us through one of those early on in your career when you weren't a head coach?
Yeah, I've been a part of a lot of wins. I've also been a part of a lot of losses, right? And I've seen great coaches handle situations like this before. I was part of one of these last year. We felt pretty disheveled last year walking off an SEC championship game that we didn't win and didn't play well, and we turned that into an opportunity to get a lot better, right? So I've seen the best do it, whether it be Coach Smart or Coach Saban or any other coach. We got to take our team, look for our opportunities to improve, and guess what? Regardless of the result today, we would have to do the same thing. Right? It's about what can you go fix and how can you improve.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.